the pleasure of introducing my sister Angela, who's the author of the memoir A River Could Be a Tree, and she's actually reading a children's story. Some of you may remember from your childhood. It's a book that my dad loved, and so without further ado, this is my sister Angela Hemsel, published author. She has some great works online, so I hope you enjoy this.
Hi, I'm Angela Hemsel, and I'm going to be reading a children's book called Sam's Big Worry, which was my favorite book growing up. My father read it to me, and in honor of his birthday this past week, I'm going to read you a little bit of it. There, said Sam Squirrel as he added 2 more acorns to the store of food in his pantry. Now I am getting a fine supply of acorns and thorn apples and sunflower seed for the winter. Sam lived in a large hole in the big oak tree in the forest. Once it had been an owl's nest, but now it was Sam's home, and he was very pleased with it. He came to his front door and looked out. He heard the birds chirping overhead. He saw the brook splashing away through the ravine below. Over through the treetops, he could even see to where his cousin Flash lived. I'm a snug, warm nest, he said. Soon I'm going to have my pantry full of food for the winter. I haven't a worry in the world, not a worry in the world. Poor Sam, if he only knew, his worry was just around the corner, and his worry's name was Lumpity Bumpity Bear. Lumpity Bumpity was a very young bear with a few little lumps here and a few little bumps there and not much sense anywhere. One day, the little bear was walking through the forest looking for something to eat. He was always hungry. He saw a bee alight on a stalk of goldenrod. I wonder if that bee is making honey somewhere, the little bear said to himself. How I love honey. Lumpity Bumpity watched as the bee flew away. It seemed to fly right up into a hole in the big oak tree. I must see if that is where he keeps his honey, Lumpity said. So up he climbed to the hole in the oak tree. Of course, that wasn't where the bee lived. That was Sam Squirrel's house. Only Sam was away at the moment hunting for more food. Lumpity Bumpity poked his head in the door. Sniff, sniff. Something smells good in here. I must see what it is. So he crawled in head first. Down in the bottom of the hole was a beautiful dinner of acorns and thorn apples and sunflower seeds. Lumpity Bumpity ate them all up. Those tasted good, he said, almost as good as honey. He backed out of the hole. Who should appear just then but Sam Squirrel. What are you doing in my house? Sam asked crossly. He was not at all happy to see Lumpity Bumpity Bear. Your house? Said Lumpity Bumpity. I didn't know it was your house. Sam pranced in his front door. By the time Lumpity Bumpity had scrambled to the ground, Sam was out again. His tail went flip-flip here and flap-flap there. He was so angry. He raced down the tree after the little bear. You've eaten all my acorns and thorn apples and sunflower seeds, he cried. Lumpity Bumpity was astonished. Were those your acorns and thorn apples and sunflower seeds? I didn't know that. Yes, they were for winter. Now they are all gone. Oh dear, said Lumpity Bumpity. I'm sorry. I'll give them all back. He stood on his head and wiggled his toes and then his legs and then his ears and then his tail. Nothing happened. I can't cough them up, he said sadly. They must be stuck in my lumpities and bumpities. Oh, Sam scolded. What a stupid bear. What shall I do? Lumpity Bumpity continued to torture poor Sam, and in the end of the book, Sam comes back. He had been gone longer than usual, and he came home to his oak tree. And what do you think he saw? Was his home entered? Were his acorns and thorn apples all gone? Was nothing left but bear smell? Oh, no, indeed. What he saw was Lumpity Bumpity stuck fast in his front door. One half of him was inside and the other half was outside, and Lumpity Bumpity was squeezed tight in the middle. He tried to push in. He tried to pull out. He couldn't budge. His lumpities had grown and his bumpities had grown until he could no longer fit into a squirrel's house. Sam jumped up and down on his front porch. His tail went flip-flip here and flap-flap there. He laughed at him, but he didn't know how to get him out. In the end, he he asked his cousin Flash, and they tickled his feet, and Lumpity Bumpity wiggled and giggled and squirmed and jiggled. He clawed the air and he clawed the tree. He thought he would be tickled to death. At last, he could stand it no longer. He made one great, enormous push, and out came Bumpity like the cork out of a bottle. And Lumpity Bumpity never bothered Sam again.
So, Yael, one reason I love this story, and I think my family loved it, is that it's very much about you have adversity, and then you just keep going, you know? And I think also just it's so nice as a grown-up to be read to and told stories to. And I think that's why, you know, like people, we just love theater. You know, I've seen you a lot at theaters in Bloomington, and I don't know, I just love hearing people telling us stories. So I don't know, do you like, well, of course you love when people tell you stories. You have a long history in radio. So
I do. It seems that many of us are enjoying having stories read to us these days. If you think about the boom of audiobooks,
yeah,
that's really taken off. That was a great story, and I enjoyed getting to revisit so many of those really cogent life lessons that are conveyed in children's books when I was reading them to my own children when they were little. Now they're teens, of course, but really, really fantastic.
and it's so important, Yael. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you I'm sure most of my friends are really big believers in reading to their kids. And so I think that especially during this time of the year, it's so cold. Well, here in Indiana, you don't want to go out, and it's just a perfect time for reading together. And I'm really happy that we have some really good literacy programs, in our city and our state. And I think that, most of us understand how important it is to not just to read, but to kind of share our stories with each other. So
yeah, the library has a lot of great programs, not only Vital, but also special programs where you can adopt a child to read to, or you can participate in a collective reading project where you serve as a mentor. Someone, I think there was a project of 100 men who read or something like that, kind of a compliment to the 100 men who cook. And you as a male mentor could serve as a powerful visual role model. Anyhow, let's move along, Rachel.
yeah, sounds good.
We've got a favorite of mine coming up. This is another friend of mine. I probably met her back in the WFHB days, early in the 2000s here in Bloomington. Janice Jaffe, an award-winning vocalist and sound healing artist. You may wonder what that means. Janice does amazing healing work with her voice and also with crystal bowls. I've even heard her perform crystal bowls in the Lower Cascades Park, harmonizing with crickets in the evening. So yeah, she's tremendous. She really is in touch with the music of the spheres. Janice is going to sing us a beautiful song. It's that classic hopeful song that reminds us that after so many thunderstorms, here comes the rainbow.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place beyond the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow way up high. There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Why can't I? Happy return of the light.
That was so great. Thank you, Janice. Now we have a wonderful treat, a woman who lives here now, and you may have seen her on stage here, but she spent many years on Broadway, and she's a friend of mine, who also just is a huge supporter of the arts here. And Yael, have you gotten to ever see Connie on stage before? Do you know Connie Shakalis?
I have not, and so I'm really looking forward to becoming initiated today.
Maybe it's more than the moon. Maybe it's more than the light. Maybe it's more than the sight of the light in a night too lovely to be. Maybe it's more than the earth shining in silvery light. Maybe the reason I'm feeling this way has something to do with you. It's a grand night for singing. The moon is bright above, and somehow aglow there's a feeling I know that thinks I am falling in love. It's a grand night for singing. The moon is high above, and somewhere below there's a lightning-like glow that says I am falling in love. Falling in love.
Yay, I love that. I love that song, and I love the song that she ended with. I loved it, and I think that it's some of the lyrics in it remind us that we love the feeling of connecting. We love falling in love, right? Whether it's a friendship sort of love or a romantic love, I think it's just the human desire for. It's funny, Yael, and this may or may not make it into the real thing, but I think it's so funny that we're all like, oh my gosh, I have to get to the movie theater because I really want to sit in a dark room with strangers. Like, do you ever think that's funny how we're longing to be not just with our friends, but like it's like this funny thing of like missing people that we didn't know we would miss. I don't know. Do you know, have you thought about that during the pandemic?
Absolutely. Like social media as well, you can decry it for sort of taking up a lot of time, but it also provides a pretty nice net at times when you need it.
Yes, and I think that it's so important to use these tools, right, as what they're meant for, to share your stories, to share your songs. And it's like, you know, anything else, you can overdo it on TV, you can overdo it on a lot of things, but I'm grateful to you know, to platforms that let us connect like this, to the Zooms and the Facebooks and stuff. So, and I'm grateful to the radio stations that play our artists' music. We have a lot of great local radio stations here in Bloomington. So we have to thank all of our members of the media who've just been coming through for us, right? I mean, I think, you know, we talk about the front line of the healthcare workers, and our artists, I feel like, are front line. Our media, they're our front line, and they're really bringing us the news and bringing us, you know, bringing us what we need to hear. And I just want to give a quick shout out to all my friends in the media. And I know you have a lot of friends in the media as well, Yael. So.
Well, the media, and more specifically, I would also name the artists, and we're focusing on the artists tonight. You know, people, there's been a sort of a distinction during the pandemic between essential workers and non-essential workers. And I'm going to here and now plant my stake and say that artists are essential workers.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, obviously, you know, we need all of our public safety folks, and we need our first responders, and we need our hospital workers like never before. But when you're down and out, a piece of art can literally save your life.
Absolutely.
And so we salute everyone who's here tonight and who's contributing to this event.
Well, another person who is a strong person is my friend Taylor Catherine. The song is Once on This Island. It's from Once on This Island.
Hello, I am live and I'm going to be singing Human Heart by Once on This Island. I just want to show you guys I have my Out of the Darkness community walk shirt on for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And I'm going to get on this song. I can't wait. Courage of a dreamer, the innocence of you, the failures and the foolishness that lead us to the truth, the hopes that make us happy, the hopes that don't come true, and all the love there ever was. See this all in you. You are part of the human heart. You are part of the journey, and managed to endure. The ones who knew such tenderness, the ones who felt so sure, the ones who came before you, and others yet to come, and those who you will teach it to, and those you've learned it from. You are part of the human life. You are part, you are part, you are part. Tonight. that song holds a special place in my heart. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
That was beautiful, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
That was so beautiful, Taylor. Thank you. Taylor, a perfect example of the next gen of artistic performers here in Bloomington. I've known Taylor for a long time, thanks to her artistically energetic grandma Tutu, who has dragged her to every performance and every theater camp in town for the last couple of decades. And I've watched Taylor come up and develop her skills. Bloomington, such a wonderful little incubator of talent here. And I think that, you know, as the Glinda, the Good Witch, said to Dorothy, we have everything we need right here. We've always had it. We have arts, and we also have a tremendously compassionate and caring community. And that's why we're here tonight in support of this cause. And we're so glad that you're sharing this evening with us, introducing new performers like Taylor to you, and of course, sharing some of new works by performers we've long known and loved. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm Yael Cassander here with Rachel Himsel, and we will be continuing in just a moment with our next act.